on today's Tuesday Tools and Tips. I asked Kathe at last minute to come in here live with you. Kathe is going to be our inspirational speaker at the upcoming Yahoo Woohoo Women's Quarterly Business and Life Planning Workshop. It is September 25th, and I'll pop the link into the post above when we get done here, or you can go to alaskatracy.com to sign up. And Kathe, I met through a group that we're involved in on Facebook, and her story is so amazing. And we're not going to get into the whole story. If you want to hear her whole story, you'll have to join the workshop. Kathe is filled with inspiration. And I thought if I had a Monday yesterday, I'm probably not alone. Probably other people had a Monday as well. Meaning where things just sort of seem to snowball. And at one point I wanted to cry. I wanted to say, what am I even doing? I should, which is a naughty word, go get a job. And it's so helpful to surround yourself with people who inspire and lift you up and can help you to keep moving forward. And hence asking Kathe to join this morning. And can you relate?
You betcha. I love that. I'm looking at Chance in the back. I love it. Okay. Yeah, no, totally can relate to that. Kind of. I love Mondays. I got to tell you.
I usually do too. It was like everything, like usually it's my super productive day. And it was like, man, for me, what happens when I'm in that space is fear, right? I'm not getting what I think I should be getting, what I think I want, something I'm not right? I'm in self. Right? Can you relate to that? And then things sort of like, how do you move forward when you're in that space? Or do you ever get in that space?
Oh yeah. I mean, heck, we're all human, right? But I'll be honest, I don't allow myself to stay there very long. I really don't. And that might just sound like, I don't know, woo woo, but really I don't. We're all going to have bad days. I don't like it when I feel like my day runs me versus me running my day, of course. I guess, it's funny because I don't allow myself to stay there very long. And with all of the, I guess, different workshops or people I've listened to and everything else, I've learned how to manage my state really fast, if that makes sense. So I know that's hard to, sometimes people are just like, oh, and it's like, no, I have a bad day, but I've learned how to flip the script really fast. Just because I had to, out of necessity, I learned how to do that, really. And so, yeah, of course we all have those days, right? But then one day it's really funny you say this because last week it kind of came to coaching at the end of, so for people who don't know what I do, I'm an online trainer.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, they're probably like, who is this lady? So I'm an online trainer among other hats that I like to wear. But I was going to say, so with my training, it's like, yeah, I love, fitness. To me, that's just 30 minutes of daily maintenance that I show up to do. And that helps my mindset a lot. But it always turns into a coaching moment. And one day I was kind of having this day, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then Wi-Fi and then this and then that. And I'm like, these are really first world problems, aren't they?
Right.
But that's what I do. I feel like I'm therapeutically switching myself in my head almost on the spot. Like, really, Kathe, you're complaining about the fact that you get to work out on, let's look around us, look at everything going on in the world. And if my first world problem is, darn Wi-Fi glitched on me and it was hard for me to get on to do my workout, that's how I switch myself, I guess, as I think about it. Like, what is my first world problem? I have a roof over my head. I have kids who annoy me. I have, whatever else. So I think it's just a lot of things in my life that have happened that have led me to really learn to flip that switch very quickly, because we have complete control of that. 100% control of that, really.
Right. Totally. I know, like for me, it was yesterday. So I've got these girls working for me that were like creating things and blah, blah, blah. Facebook, I was on, like, it was like I don't know, from 8 to noon, I was working on a problem. Right. And then I dropped a piece of glass and it shattered in this office everywhere. And I could have gone, oh shit. That's it. It's going to be a week, right? Cleaned up the glass. I kept moving forward. For me, it's really important to remember what my grounding words are and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and put people into my life that I can lean into, and I can go, oh my gosh, ah! And they can go, okay, take a breath, get on your knees, turn it over. Right? So there's like systems in place to help to keep going. What systems do you have, or have you incorporated through, I know you've had challenges and struggles.
Heck yeah. So, gosh, I talk about this a lot, but it's one, you have to stand guard right here, your security right here. So if you know something sets you off, you avoid it. I mean, let's be honest, you and I work through social media, that's our business, but I also have control of what I see in my feed, right? If I want to fill it with gratitude and kindness and everything else, I sure can. And I think you can take the woo out of, a lot of times people think of words like manifestation and everything else. It's like what you said, the universe sometimes will like do something like that to you just to kind of shake you up. Like, okay, Tracy's had a really jumbled morning, so she's going to drop this piece of glass and then you have to stop and you have to clean it up. It's like, right? It's really not anything woo-woo. It's just like, I think we get we're like a magnet. What we put out comes back, right? And so sometimes when you're just like, bah, things like this happen. So I would say first things first is I turn off the news, man. I mean, you see the TV behind me. I know way more about sharks and Discovery Planet and all these things. No, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's because I love to learn. And so like, if there's something on, it's probably something I'm just learning about. I'm not saying I never turn on the news, but you can just live in fear, right? So I think you have to figure out what your triggers are for sure. Right. There are things that are just out of our control, and days get out of our control. And I don't know what it is everybody believes in. Everybody believes in something different. But I always say, if you can't control it, then you need to say a prayer, give it away, and move on, because we don't have control over everything. And I think once you realize that, that's your system. You don't need systems,
Right.
Right. I can't control this, I do the best I can with it, and then I give it away and I move on.
Right. Right.
So I'd be remiss to go, oh, I've got all these systems. It's like, well, really, I think it's just like built-in self-preservation, right? Just like I've had a lot of crazy things come about or happen in my life that I've had to learn. Life's going to knock you down. Days are going to knock you down. You can lay there and die, or you can get up and keep going. Right. And so it's just getting up and keep going. You just pull yourself back up and go.
Right. And maybe have a person or two that you can really go deep with, like bounce things off of.
Oh, heck yeah. Accountability is huge, and accountability is not always people, but sometimes it is, I mean, it can be anything, right? I mean, you can go find accountability on YouTube if you wanted to listen to it all day long, but yeah, I mean, just like, so even with my group, that I do, or that I have, and my clients, it's like just that accountability factor of there's that person there that I literally have people who go, well, I'm not working out, but I tune in for the coaching, and that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Maybe that's where you're at right now. Just meet me where you're at. It's fine, but yes, accountability is huge. Yeah. Right. So finding those groups. Yeah. If you're already on social media, this group, it's awesome. Your group, like you find those people that are like-minded, that we're all headed in the same direction, Nobody, the thing people have to remember is nobody has all their shit together.
Right.
First of all, to be honest, right?
Right.
And number two, I just had this conversation this morning. This is so funny, but I go, cause there's I don't remember what it was last night, but there was some celebrity thing on. There's all these celebrities, right? And people just think like, oh, they're all perfect. I'm like, you know what, guys? They roll out of bed in the morning. They have to brush their teeth. They're stinky. They look crappy without makeup. They have to go to the bathroom. They do all the same stuff we do. They're just well known, right? So even though people look like they have their stuff together, we all kind of don't have our stuff together. But when you see those people that are entering the jet and doing this, and they look like their life is together, it was so many little things to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, So it's, what's the alternative is what I always say. You can lay down, cry about it, or you can get up and just keep going. One foot in front of the other.
Oops, sorry about that. Right, exactly. It's such a mind game that we can, it was like, and Kathy knows that Chancey's had an injury, and I took her to the vet yesterday, and they're like, it could take 6 months to heal. And I'm like, 6 months? What? Like, I just about lost it, and then I beat the hell out of myself on the way home with her, and it just went on and on. Well, by the time my husband got home, I go, well, could be a lot worse. She's here with us. It could be cancer. It could be like, right? We're in our nice, safe, warm, cozy house on the in the cabin in the woods. Like, it could, like, switching that. And then for me, it's about releasing the guilt and the shame that I put on myself, which if I talked to a friend the way I talk to myself, I wouldn't have any friends.
Yes, or I mean, heck, you're a mom, you're a women's group. So there's probably moms here. And what I always say too, to my people, I'm like, self-care is huge. It's not me. It's not, me first. It's you're taking care of yourself to take care of other people, whatever that is for you. And I would never, I'm not saying this never happens. Unfortunately, people grow up in different childhoods, but I would never speak to my kids the way we want to talk to ourselves, ever. So you're so right. It's like, you have to have more love for yourself, more care.
Right. I know. And then getting out of ourselves like you do every morning. Your business is, go ahead and share what you do. You work out every morning, and you have a group, and I don't want to share all of it because I know you're going to be in the workshop, but your story, I mean, you pivoted in 2020 to having a couple gyms to just take over.
Yeah. So I won't fill in the whole story, but basically I had to go online. COVID, happened. And so continues to keep going, it seems like. But I was going to say, so I moved online. I had no choice. Like I said, I've been through a few things, and I'll get to that in my story eventually, but I've been through a few things. So, you know what? It's like, you have to survive. You can't just lay down and die, right? You've got to keep going. I've got these kids that rely on me and everything else. So I went online. And so what I do is I go online every single day. Well, 6 days a week, we go online, and I coach. I'm a personal trainer. I had gyms, like Tracy said, and I coach people through workouts, meaning I do the workout with them every single solitary day. And that's accountability at its finest, folks. You asked me one time, what do you do if you get sick? And I was like, I don't, but what's ironic is last Sunday, my kids, there's a lot of RSV going around our town. They've all been tested. It's not COVID. I mean, there are other viruses, right?
Right.
So, anyways, in adults, it's really like a cold, and my kids gave me a little bit of it. And I showed up every single day and did the workout. Now, I also taught my people that it's okay to be gentle with yourself, to know when you can do that. If I'm throwing up or something, I'm not going to show up and do a workout, but I also knew I could show up and modify, and I can still coach people through a workout. And so that's accountability at its finest. You show up every day and you do these workouts. But so I show up and I do these workouts, but my main goal in life is not just that daily maintenance, I guess, to maintain yourself. I always equate it to a car. If we got a car that we loved and we never did anything to take care of it, it would fall apart, right? And then you're in a big heap of trouble. Well, often that's what happens is, this has been jokingly said by my people, but they get a hold of me when their check engine light comes on, so I know, isn't that funny? But it is, it's like really the same thing. And so anyway, so it turned into, yes, we do these workouts, and I'm a busy mom, and frankly, I'm a trainer. And years ago, when I established what I do this based on what I would want to do, because let's be honest, things get boring. And it's like I always say, exercise ADHD here, right? I want to put in front of people what I would do for myself, which is what we do. But it's so much more than that, because it's really about, I don't care if they're rocking a bikini or if they're just there to try to maintain their health. It really doesn't matter. And we get into mindset, and every week we talk mindset. And my big goal in life is just to leave people better than you found them, really. So even if it's daily, leaving them better than I found them, then that's awesome. You know, so there's always coaching involved, and I don't stop talking the whole time. And that's like my challenge, right? Just keep talking. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I show up to do. And like I say, talk about personal accountability for myself. I mean, first world problems, right? Like I said, I'm like, gee, I get, you know, people pay me to work out with them every day. Like, woe is me, right? What do I have to complain about? You know, so.
And I think it's super helpful that, and I tagged you on the comments so people can follow you. Check out Kathe's stories. They're just great. And if they don't make you smile, then, well, I don't know. They're so funny.
That is the goal. And it's so funny you say that, because I have joked with people when I run into people locally or something, you know, they all know me, and whether they're a client or not, they're like, hey, because I have clients all over the world, obviously online, they don't have to be here, right? And so they'll make a comment, and I always say, oh gosh, silence me if I annoy you. And they're like, no, you literally make me laugh every day. Like, and that's the point. And that's 100% the point, is like, that's it. I just want people to know I'm here, showing up. If you can't make people smile and spread happiness, you know what, I'm okay with making fun of myself. I mean, look at me. I know you gave me short notice, but like, I show up as a hot mess. I'm okay with that. This is me.
I brushed my hair today. I'm like, I brushed my teeth. Just, yeah.
Yeah. It's all real. That's what you're getting. So yeah.
Well, I do have a filter on my Zoom.
Oh, you do? I didn't know you could do that.
You can. It smooths me
Teach
out
me
just
your
a little
ways.
bit. Just a little.
You have to teach me now. Well, now I know.
Right.
I love it.
Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, that's great. I had no idea. That's funny.
I know. What was I going to say? Something about what I've learned is when I was in the cusps of, well, my alcoholism, I was super self-centered and super selfish and always thinking about myself. And what people that were my mentors, taught me was to reach out to others. And man, when the going gets tough, it's super hard to do that. And it works every single time. Even like this morning, some of the members, I do we call it FOFO, Focus Forward meeting every Tuesday in the membership, Visions to Profits Women's membership. And a couple of the ladies were struggling. And I said, I'm honest with them. I'm really vulnerable and honest. I said, if you could see the piles all over my office right now, and literally I'm going to take a comb and brush it through my hair and brush my teeth, and I will be on there. And it's been a Monday yesterday. So like today is a new day. And so then we get on there and we go around and we listen to other people's struggles and other people's obstacles. And we listen. And we don't fix, we listen. And oftentimes the woman that's struggling with a health issue, somebody else in the group has had it, or it puts us all even. Like, I used to think I was either way up here or way down there, you know, and we're all just even. And so when the struggle happens for me, if I can remember to get out of myself, not talk about myself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, and you're so right. It's like, there isn't really a hierarchy, right? I mean, like I said, we all put our pants on one leg at a time or whatever. unless you're crazy talented, but do you know what I mean? It's true. And you don't realize how many people are watching you. That's the other thing people have to realize is there is somebody out there that admires you and you don't even know it. It's amazing. I always say that with like kids when, you know, of course I'm a trainer, so I talk about exercise and it's like, you never know who's watching. And, you know, people send me videos of their little kid doing a burpee or something and, oh, look at this, because they're watching mom and dad, right? Well, it's really the same thing. You have no idea who's watching you. And it's wonderful. We've probably all gotten these messages a time or two, but when you get a message like that, it's like, it almost like shocks you. Like I remember one day, one of my people commented, and I'm trying to think of what it was, but it was some post, and she commented, she's like, I want to be you when I grow up. And I don't remember how she referred to it, but she's like, no, I always say that. And she's like, I just want to be, and I'm sitting there reading it going, what? Why would she want to be me? You know, like I'm looking at her going, what? She's got it all together. But that's the point is, like you said, we're all human. It's all the same, you know?
Right. Right. Like in the middle of all my crazy head talk yesterday, and I don't share this very much. I think it's important to share though. I have had a vision of living on an ocean with whales. And I looked at a photo right behind me of a beautiful piece of art with whales in the ocean. Fast forward, take actions, take actions, take actions. So it's not woo-woo, right? It's a vision and then there's actions. So it's not God, universe, send me the ocean, a place on the ocean. It's
Right.
okay, a vision, action, right?
Right.
Vision, actions, let go. Long story short, we are going to have a place in Mexico on the ocean with whales in front of us. Like, I want to cry every time I think of it. It's like out of a movie, but it's not. It's actions, it's actions, it's actions. And so I'm involved in the community group on Facebook that, oh, I know, I'm okay. She's concerned about me. My therapy dog here. It's okay. So I'm involved in the community group in Mexico. And yesterday, in the middle of everything, one of the ladies said, what a beautiful life you have. Because I said, I'll be flying back and forth. And she said, what a beautiful life you have. And I stopped. And I was filled with gratitude of, oh, really? My problems are I'm on Facebook trying to figure out my ads thing for the people that are working for me, like like that jolt that you talked about, right? Like
yeah. And you don't know where that jolt's going to come from, because I'm telling you, the day that I was like, oh guys, you know, I come rushing on like a minute late and I'm like, and then Wi-Fi and then my Zoom and then, you know, and I was all freaked out. And literally one of my clients puts in the comments, thank you, Jesus. And I went, well, she's right. You know, like I said, I don't care what you believe in, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, really first world problems here. And it was that fast that I started laughing at myself and like, gosh, she's right. This is so stupid. Let's go to it. You know,
and they're
like,
always there. It's if we choose to see them and like pause and honor them and go, oh, you're taking yourself too damn seriously right now, Trace. Yeah. Like lighten up. Yeah. There's a whole world out there with, you know, some serious issues happening. Like it's not that big of a deal in your cozy little office today.
Right. Well, you're so right. And one of the things I gave my people as like a, you know, I'll send them motivation or something every day and like just via text. We have these big text group accountability groups. And if they want to be in them, some people don't like group text, but anyways, and one of them I sent last week was a challenge to them that every time you have a bad thought, replace it with 3 positive thoughts. And you've probably heard that before, but it's a great way to be. And it's so true. It's like people, it doesn't always have to be big, right? But like, for example, you know, here I talk about, I have a 13 and a 15-year-old. I have 2 teenage boys. They will make you rip your hair out. Thank God I'm blonde because I'm gray. I'm just saying, like, it hides. But there are days that I'm like, oh my gosh, but let me tell you something. And this is not to be sad. 2 years ago, one of my best friends, her daughter was killed suddenly in a car wreck, and she was 16 years old. And riding through that side by side with somebody, it has made me view every second with my kids differently. When I am annoyed, picking up their stinky clothes or their, whatever. I mean, I have boys, like I said, I literally in the moment, I almost can't be, because I'm just like, I can still smell my stinky kid. Does that sound weird? But you know what I mean? It's like, you can still, if I want to, I can smell them. And I know she'd give anything for that. Right. So it's like those type of things that you can take that one negative thing in your day and go, how am I going to silver lining this? Just add 3 things, and we all have them. Like you said, in my lowest of lows, I could still go, I have a roof over my head. I have food in the cupboards, and I have 2 healthy kids. You know what I mean? It's like, it can be basic. And I don't think people realize that when you talk about changing it up or living in gratitude, what that looks like, it can be that basic. Like, I woke up today, I mean, really, at workouts, I have this heart that beats for me every day. Awesome. I'm going to honor it. It can be so basic. And I don't think people think of that. Sometimes when you say, well, what do you have to be thankful for? They're thinking of big things. It doesn't have to be. The little things are the big things, right? So.
And I think, like, I started TikTok, which it's cool. I'm using it to build the business. And last night I was scrolling and I'm like, I'm okay with that. It was like, it's okay. And I was on there and there was a girl that was burned in a volcano, like by the air. Anyways, 70% of her body was burned. And so she's taking people through her healing process, and she has to wear this compression thing on her. And I was just listening to her. Right. I just had so much like gratitude for her. And she wasn't sugarcoating anything. And people were like, her dad and sister died and she lived. And somebody said, God's got a purpose for you. That's why you're here. And she goes, no. I mean, that's okay that you think that way, but my dad and my sister had a purpose too. I don't think I was chosen. Like, but that's okay that you think that way. She said, I'm here and it's still a challenge, and I have, like remorse for being alive and them not, and I was just listening to her and I thought, oh my, there's so many people out there that have real problems and they're walking through things in life with
Yeah. And they're dealing. And so exactly. So then that's the moments you feel bad, right? Because you're sitting there watching her going, oh God, I was feeling really bad for myself today on Facebook. Like, I'm saying, that's the stuff, it's like, there's so many things like that can just bring you back down to like, let's be back in reality. And like,
right. And by the end of like, I don't know, 10 minutes watching her, I didn't even notice the compression on her face anymore. Like, I heard another human being talk from the heart. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, she's this beautiful. And I was like, of course, I always want to help people. Like, how can I? And I'm like, no, just like, wow, just take what you can and send good vibes to her. And wow, what a gift. Like, what a gift for my life and my skin, and listening to like how our skin repairs itself, and like, oh my gosh, we are all like freaking miracles that,
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And I agree. It's like, people don't think about it when you're walking around just normal and healthy. You really don't think about how amazing and lucky that is, do you? There's so many people that would give anything to just be able to walk around. That's it.
Right.
So
thank you for your time today and for popping in. And like you said, we haven't had anybody comment, but we never know who's watching.
Right. Yes. Yep.
And if you want to hear more of Kath's inspirational story, join the workshop September 25th, the Women's Quarterly Business and Life Planning Workshop, where you'll leave with a detailed 90-day plan. The link's in the comments. Connect to Kathe. Kathe, I always call you Kath because of your name. People do that, right?
Yes. Yep. They do. My mom, it made sense to her to spell my name that way. Kathe. That's it.
Right. Well, like Chansey is with Chance and then a Z at the end, because
Yeah.
there's a story. But anyways, connect with Kathe, and thanks, Kathe, so much for your time this morning, for being impromptu. I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for watching the replay later. Please comment below, connect with Kathe, and have a wonderful day. Until next time. Bye. Thank you.